What's up, guys? Today we're finally back with a tutorial. Today is a physics tutorial on rope physics, and it's really easy. We just need two sprites, rope and the pen render, which you probably prefer or probably not prefer. It's really just your choice. You could also do it in the sprite, and you know, pen render is just one of those ways that is a lot more efficient. If you are making a game, you're using pen to make this rope physics, you're probably going to use pen in other places too. So it's probably good to have the pen render that'll render out every single pen structures you have on your game. And so I'm going to do it in another sprite. But if you want, I can explain how you could do it in this rope sprite if you really prefer that. Let's go to events. Let's get a when green flag is click. Go to looks. Get a hide. We want to hide the main one. The main one is not going to be in use. And then let's just go ahead and get the pen extension, which is at the left bottom corner. This blue thingy. Click it. Click the pen thing. You get the pen. We'll erase all, and then we need a few variables first. We want to choose the amount of nodes. You want to have that as a variable because if there's a lot of nodes, it's gonna really look very smooth with less squarey sort of look. But obviously it's gonna have to use more clones, so it's gonna lag a little bit more. So let's go ahead and set our gravity, or yeah, we haven't created that. I'll explain about this variable a little bit later. This is basically the amount of pull on the nodes so that there's spaces between the nodes. And then we'll have the rope tensity, which controls the stiffness of how the rope will slide and glide in basically. Let's go to my blocks, create a block. We can name it clone, and then input. We're gonna name it how many. Pretty simple. Run without screen refresh and click OK. So we need one more variable, ID, for this sprite only, and then we could set ID to 1. Right, let's go to control, get a repeat loop, and let's get how many. And then we need 2 more lists. You could do it in 1 more list. The code gets a little bit more complicated. It's not a bad thing to have a lot of lists. It's just a little bit more confusing. But we only have 2 in this case, so that is fine for us. And if you just want to use a single list, then you're going to still have to do 2 lists, but you're going to be able to convert a lot of things into just 1 list with that 1 additional list, which is going to be the translator list, which I might as well just put out a tutorial on that because it's super useful, by the way, and maybe not, who knows. Probably I'm going to do that, but yeah. And then let's go to control, get and create clone of myself. And then let's change ID by 1. And then, yeah, that's basically the cloning. Let's get a when I start as a clone. So we could start off our clone. We have to show as a clone because we hide it within our main sprite. And then let's go to control, get a forever loop. Let's get an if else. And then if equals 1, and then we're going to drag in our ID. And for ID is equal to 1, and we're going to go to our mouse pointer. And then let's go to my blocks, make a block. We can name it refresh. Let's click that run without screen refresh, and then let's try to get our ID from the sprite. So, good. And now we just have to put that there, duplicate the ID, and get the ID down there. Now, this is the most complicated part, even though it's not complicated at all. So we are going to divide it by our tensity. By the way, this shouldn't be 0. Temporarily, let's set it to negative 3.5. And our gravity, it could be negative 6.28. Obviously, it's your choice, but around this is the best. And then we're going to do mine subtract. And then let's go to get our x position, and then we could do item, subtract 1 from our ID of node X. So we could duplicate that, go to motion, get a change Y by, drag this entire thing in here, and then drag just throw that out, replace the X position with your Y position, replace that node Y X list with a node Y list. And then with the refresh, let's go to the list section, get a replace item, 2 of them, and then let's convert one of that into node Y, get the ID, and then with our current new X position and Y position. Now if we start running this, it's gonna hide, yeah. Okay, let's just clear the graphic effects when it starts to. We could actually replace that with a different things out a little bit later on. Maybe not now. Yeah, I don't think we need that just yet. So what we are going to do is, oh, yeah, I was like, why is this not running? And then I forgot to put that clone. We could do that. Clone amount of nodes. That's also weird, but probably I'm missing another thing. Let's see, clone how many? Add that. Okay. Oh, we just have to refresh it. Yeah, these things also have to refresh. And then I set it something probably wrong. And that's why these dots aren't going haywire. Probably. And that is because we have to add the gravity to it. So let's go ahead and add the gravity. But that's probably not the only problem. Intensity. It has to be 3.5, not negative 3.5. There you go, we fixed it, boys. Now, there is a lot of method out there that'll get the rope physics done, but this is one of the most simplest and effective code. Yeah, truly. But there are codes that go into more details about the physics of ropes, but this is basically all you need. All those bouncy stuffs and all those moving stuffs. And then if you get into the spring physics I made, you might be able to get the spring physics done so it just doesn't glide in but also bounce off the side. If you see, it just stops when it comes like that. But obviously that's the only problem with this. And then now if you see, it's just a bunch of dots following each other. Let's get into our pen render. After we get this done, I can show you guys how to do it in just one of that sprite. But yeah, here we go. So when green flag is clicked, forever. My blocks, we can render rope. Obviously, I'm just writing that rope because in this case, in the case you're just making a new sprite, doing it because you want to render into like a bunch of stuff. This will specify that this block will render into rope. So there you go. And then we can set our pen color to a convincing color that this is a rope, which is probably somewhere around there. Right, I'll see that as a row. And then a convincing size, 5. And then we could erase all. And then we could do pen up. And here's the tricky part. We have to go to the item 1 of node X and item 1 of node Y. And then we have to pen down after that's happened. And then we have to create another variable, I1, and then you have to select for this sprite only. Well, you don't have to, but it's a lot better off like it. And then let's go to control, get a repeat, and then we can get a subtract 1 from the amount of nodes, because we already done the first one here. That's the tricky part, because if you just do amount of nodes here, it's going to glitch out, and it's going to draw another separate line. That goes super weird. Yeah. And then, oops, so we can go to the item I1 of node X and item I1 of node Y, which will solve the problem. And then we could change I1 by 1 every tick. So now if you see, it's a rope, but the dots are still there. Oh my god. Okay, you don't want that. Then here's the part that comes in with the change ghost effect to 100. Now this will just get rid of all those visuals, but you're not, like, you shouldn't do just that. Basically, what this is just putting a hide in. It's same as that because it's the main sprite is already hidden. Like, you know, there's no problem, but there's a problem. Just, yeah, it's a little hard to explain. Just do that. It's a lot better. Now you guys can mess things up with their amount of nodes and gravity and intensity. I think I said it, but here we go again for a better explanation. Amount of nodes. It controls the amount of the dots you saw when it showed. More there are, it might be a little bit laggier, but the details go insane. For example, let me do 100. Look at that. It's super smooth and it becomes long. So let's make the gravity negative 0.5. And then now if you go, look at that. Now that's so slow. It's because of the intensity. We could just do 1.05. Now this will make the rope super short, which we also don't want. Let's try 1.28. That'll just, yeah, it's super smooth. You don't see a single segment of line with your naked eye. Well, you might. It's because of how Scratch works, but yeah, this is like super smooth compared to 5 nodes. Like, for example, we can have that back up again, like so. Now if we go, super blocky. You see all those corners. Now, you sort of get my point, right? Yeah. And then here we go. This is how you do it just in a single sprite. You guys might have been waiting for this. It's very simple. Go into ropes, create a variable, name it I1 for the sprite only on, and then you're just gonna attach your forever loop here, and create a block, and then name it render rope. Create that with run without screen refresh. Put that here. And just basically finish up the same code. And yeah, that's basically it. You know, it's very simple to just convert it into the thing. And yeah, there you go. That's the rope physics. Let's try that super smooth thing again. But this time, maximum clone limit 300. Okay, we could do negative 0.026. And then the intensity of 1.194. That should do the trick. Oh, look at that. So smooth. Oh yeah, that's so good. But you guys couldn't mess with that. I am done here. So yeah, this was Coding Stickman. It was a very you know what I mean, with that tutorial. I have been making a lot of weird videos, but yeah, here we go. Another actual good video. And then yeah, that's it. Play around with it. And if you guys enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button and like button. If you didn't, just hit that subscribe button and like button. If you want the part 2 of it, which is method 2 by the way, with a more complicated version that will contain the bounciness and everything, yeah, leave a comment below that you want that. And peace.